Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. Like what you see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Pro Cycling Manager 2018 Career Mode Episode 52. Not good news, George Simpson, glandular fever. It's going to be out for 3 months for that one. That's a new one. I have not seen anything like that, but that sort of stuff happens in real life with cyclists all the time. When you put the body under that much strain continually, things happen. And for George Simpson, something has happened. Alright, so Giro d'Italia final overall standings. Final stage going to Gianluca Brambilla. Nairo Quintana has won the Giro this year over Tom Dumoulin, and then Vincenzo Nibali, and Quintana has taken the points jersey as well as the Mountain Climbers jersey, in addition to the overall win, a feat he's equaling to Tom Dumoulin, who finished second in it this season. So total domination for Quintana. We are on to the Winston-Salem Classic. And it's sprint, but you can see it does undulate quite a bit. So there's likely going to be a good chunk of riders that will not make it to the end on this one. But because it's relatively flat, we'll go ahead and skip to the last kilometers. There's still 34 kilometers remaining in this race, but we've seen the peloton shrink all the way down to 41, 39, 40. It's hovering a little bit right now, largely because of, well, both attacks, but also the undulation here is pretty relentless. There's just a near constant up, down to this. But the big thing has been crashes. That's been the story of the day. There have been so many crashes. I mean, you can see it does weave back and forth as well as up and down. And even though it's perfectly dry out, it's had an impact. And I saw something new in this race that I've never seen before. Wachtendorf, along with Veldeman, were in a crash. The group collectively all got back up on their bikes at roughly the same time, which is more or less how that works in this game. And they got off rolling again, and 100 meters later, there was a second crash with the majority of the group. Wachtendorf did not get back up from that one, and withdrawn from the race with another injury. I am down to 9 riders, 10 riders, something like that right now, depending on what the diagnosis will be on him at the end of this one, so ouch. But all these crashes have absolutely demolished the field, and so there's just 46 riders chasing 2. There were 3 riders. We're starting to see some attacks here, which means we really need to do something before this can get out of control and these guys get away from us. Profile wise, 2 more times up and over the climb. It would be after that next time that I want to begin my attack, but we could certainly get formed up. And wait, is that a whole group trying to attack now? Yes, it appears that it is. So we need to take control of this before things get out of control. Marini's obviously our sprint guy, but is it going to be Van Gittiken? They're both decent on hills, plus Veldeman, but Van Gittiken or Bax? Bax. Okay, so Bax, and then Van Gittiken, and then Veldeman. That is a embarrassment of riches for us, at least compared to what we've been used to. Swirbel is weaker than Garrison right now. However, Swirbel's a better climber, but that's not necessarily anything, so we'll just go Garrison. And Swerble up front. I don't want to attack just yet. I'm not even going to use his gel. I'm going to see what riding at a 90 will do for Swerble. That right there is the second steepest of the climbs that we face. 18 kilometers now. Let's go and use that gel before it's too late. Those three riders are just about reeled in here. Pierre Williams, Boris Valle. I've had him on a team before in years past. Alright, those guys are reeled in. And we're down to just two riders with a relatively small gap. Okay, here's the big climb. We're going to go 90 over the top of that. Swerble, good job for pulling that one. Instantly pulls back time. Garrison, we need to get you ready. And Swerble's job is done. He's going to pull off. And just like that, we are doing some damage to the back end of the group. 38 riders. One more time over that climb. It's 10K, so actually it's time to step this up. 96. I need backs. Still good to go with about 1K to go. So this is not your normal sprint. Not your normal sprint. There's definitely that up-down. So not quite ready to go 99s or anything like that.
The last 8 kilometers of the stage, which will most likely end up in a mass sprint.
Okay, now I think we can start pushing a lot harder. 6K, and we're leaving so much of the group behind. Whoa, Veldeman, you are too strong. You're hurting your team.
There are just
5K left. Actually, you grab onto the back. See if you can't survive. Little recovery with that little downhill section. That was good. We needed that. 21 riders is all that's left. Where are we at? 1.9K. This is the uphill coming up in just a moment. Super steep section right around this corner. And right at the end of it, that should be backs leading out once we get there, which means Van Ginneken can go 99. Backs will take over on the base, and then we go sprint at the top.
There goes the sprint. The strong men are giving their all.
Marini was still a little bit shy. Can we get over the top, Backs? Oh, this is so close. Torres takes it. Backs takes second. McClay takes third. Marini fourth. So we got second and fourth. So close. Torres was in the middle of my group, so we didn't quite have the strength in the lead out that we needed. Part of that was Veldeman was too strong a little too early. I should have had Veldeman instead of Backs on that little climb. And then Backs before that, so we could have had the speed to be further ahead, but have my best climber there. I wasn't sure how I should do that. I think I should have done that the other way. But we do manage to get a second and fourth among some higher level Pro Continental riders here. I mean, there's plenty of good riders around me. And some World Tour riders. EF Education, BMC were both here. Joey Roskopf, all the way down to 17th. So, still a good result, but not a win, and I feel like we could have had that one. And we lose Wachtendorf, potentially, for a period of time. Hopefully it's minor. So close there by Backs. Marini was just a little too far down. wheel-wise when he came up over the top, so by the time he started his sprint, he was actually still pushing the final few meters uphill. And so he kind of ultimately missed out on that sprint. He was just that little too far back. So you can see it there better than the hill. It was just a little too far beyond reach on that one. Just 18 riders were left in the group. So I end up with a pretty good standing there. That should put us right about the top. Yeah, us and Hagens Berman, the only ones to come in on the same time. Next up is the Rund Kuhn. Another sprint one, but it's another one that's not going to be an easy sprint one, and I definitely have some guys with some issues. Oh, fractured kneecap. I may have one of those myself. Not sure. Never had a fractured kneecap before. Might just be a small fracture, but 2 days ago now, and I'm rather sore at the moment. 2 days ago now, playing a soccer game, indoor soccer game, speed versus speed. I came from a step behind. I was guarding somebody else, and this guy went running through, trying to chase down a long ball, and I went from a half step behind to a half step ahead. Got to the ball first, passed it back to my keeper, but his foot caught my foot and accidentally tripped me up right at the edge by the wall, and I went leg into turf, bounced, and then leg into wall. Knee first. Ouch. Alright, Wachtendorf is injured, so it could be a little while. We'll see how long. Vervecki's recovered. There's something. Hey. We got one guy coming back. One out, one back. Push into the month of June here. Let's see the diagnosis on Wachtendorf real quickly here, and then I will... so we actually still have 10 days till that race is coming up. There's no point to sit here through all this simulating. By the way, we were talking wish list last time. It would be nice if they could sim those a little bit quicker this year. Prize money, 1,700, not much. Wachtendorf, what do we have? Fractured something or other. Gosh. Wild card, yeah, that's not going to be us. Whoa, only one team participated for La Vuelta. Only one team, Israel Cycling Academy. 1 of 4 to get the wild card. Dang. Hopefully we don't end up with one, because that was not good. That's a lot of teams for these. Oh, there you go for Vecchi. 2 to 3 days. Cold, that's what he had. Back to it here. So, what are we checking? Oh, that was just the injury for Wachtendorf. Let's take a look, though, at the team on a whole. That is a crazy long list of riders. That is 5. It was 6 just 24 hours ago until Vervecchi recovered from his cold. So it was half the team down with something. Van Henlen, fractured thigh, will be back in the middle of next month. Guyard should be back soon. Bull, another month still to go. Wachtendorf will be out for a month. And Simpson, middle of July when he'll be back. He's the longest on the list. But that is a lot. That is an awful lot of injuries we've taken. Quick update before we enter the race now, 10th of June. Brecht Wachtendorf, issues with training. I switched him back to his original trainer. He's just not been happy with his trainer. They just don't have a good relationship. I'm not going to bring in a whole additional trainer for one rider. Frank Volgraf also issues with Marini, and we got that switched over as well. So training issues taken care of. I do have 2 riders now that are traditional style, and I don't have a traditional style trainer. Thinking about getting one. We certainly have a decent balance and could afford it. So we may do that. But for now, a couple races that took applications. We did not get in. We didn't get in here either. And sure enough, Israel Cycling Academy, the only, even though it would have taken 4, into La Vuelta. So had we applied, we would have gotten in. But I don't have a team large enough to support that. Nor is my team really equipped to deal with a race of that nature. I don't have the climbers yet on this squad, so really didn't want to be there. The only tours that I didn't apply to were the 3 Grand Tours. Criterium de Dauphiné's got a day or 2 left on it. Right now, Roglic is the leader over Quintana and Poles. And we are ready to enter this race. Unless things have really intensified by this point, we'll just be coming up for the sprint finish. I do have a number of riders that just started fitness peaks, and we can see that Osorio's got a bit of fatigue, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. Last episode we did that wish list, and I made a discovery right after I stopped the recording. Had been talking about it, and I, for some reason, thought that this was something else than what it is. And here is this lovely graph that shows the riders and their fitness levels, their freshness, their fatigue. It's amazing. And here we are with a very fatigued, tiredness 78 points. We got fitness 95, preparation 97. So some rest will bring him down to 59. That's still above. We need to keep that below 50. So we're going to need to rest here this following week. And yes, that hurts his program to rest 2 weeks in a row, but that will get him down to 35. And that'll get him back into that happy zone. We can actually probably step that up and maybe step this up and rest later, like here. I think 2 weeks of rest in a row, though good for his fitness level. See that it's going to bring him down in both of these. It's going to take care of that fatigue issue, and he's useless if he's too tired. I am down to a point now where, and so that I mentioned I wanted on the wish list. Here it is. It's just not very noticeable. Not very noticeable. I did not know what that button would do before, but I know now. I'm still learning things on this game as well. You can see that this is also the last race that I have anything set for. The main reason for that, the reason why I haven't set things out, is I have so many riders out injured right now. And even though it says when they're expected to be back, if you haven't noticed, this game is not consistent on that. They come back when they come back. And as a result, I'm still in kind of a hurry up and wait pattern on who I'm going to get through kind of the mid-July. So these next few races, playing it by ear a little bit, and then we'll get back to kind of normalcy by that point as we get guys healthy again with these races coming up. So I'll build the calendar as I need to get through this period of time. But the big day right there, the Ride London Surrey Classic right at the end of July into August, that is a big mark right there as we enter and we'll have our new contract, we'll have our signing period, all of that. So there's not very many races between now and then. But let's go ahead and skip forward now into the race. 18 kilometers left in this one, and it was a pretty easy time to get over all those climbs. The pace was never bad. There was never a large breakaway to threaten the field very much. Different group than usual. I had some decent climbers in here, which is what made it so easy for us to get over those climbs. They pulled all the sprinters over the top one by one, and with 18 kilometers left to go, we can start our attack on this field here pretty quickly. Swerble going to get out front. The most recent breakaway, it was not the first of the day. There was about 3 in all. Never more than 3 riders in any of them, and the final one was just a single rider. So Swerble, now you can see the pace is actually really hot, so it seems like maybe I should have attacked just a little bit earlier here. There's Swerble already off the front for Vecchi. No, I was going to use your gel a while ago. Down to 13k now, so Swerble just let out for 5k without really getting the whole group to the front. But here goes for Vecchi, 12k to go. Boy, he's running out of energy awfully quick. 11k. Did he lead us out for like 1.5 kilometers? Was all he made it? At a 97?
There are just 10 kilometers left. While the pack is getting close to the finish line, everybody seems to agree that the stage will be won in a sprint. There are several riders who can't keep up with the pace.
So now the others are coming up on us. This is I don't have as many sprinters here as I normally do, so you can see my lead out is nowhere near as strong as usual, and we've got Mohoric riding off the front. I don't expect that that's going to work too well, but 5k to go, and I'm down to 3 guys, and yeah, we should be okay now. We should be okay. Right? Veldeman? Yeah, he's strong. He's strong. Two and a half K. We gotta go 98 for right now. 2k. Now we can go 99. Sprint. Everybody sprint. Here we go. Marini already. He's in good position. He got a good lead out. He's got 3 tough competitors with him. Oh, he ran out of energy right before the line. Right before the line, and he drops all the way to 4th. He sits up 5 meters before the finish line and goes from 1st to 4th. He had it. He had it won. All he had to do was lunge, and instead he sat up. And they all lunged right past him. But he ran out of energy before the line, and that's how that works. That is how that works. But he had it won. Well, that's disappointing. Almost perfectly timed. A half second short on the energy, and he misses the podium entirely. And that's against some good riders. I mean, that's Pascalon, who we've been up against. Well, really not that many. Marini really should have won that, and he's on a fitness peak. Part of that did come down to my other guys. We're all getting used up a little early. Veldeman really helped get us towards the end. But the guys prior to that, Osorio, Vervecchi, they were running out of energy way too fast. for the level of work that they were doing. I mean, they were set to 95, 96, 97. They shouldn't have been. They were running out of energy the way normally my guys are running out at about a 98, 99 rate. So that was unfortunate. We got the right position. We got him set up, and we missed it by 5 meters from being timed exactly, perfectly. That's how it is, though. Inch perfect. And that wasn't inch perfect. In fact, I didn't even miss by an inch, did I? I missed by 5 meters. Which, of course, in terms of game speed, that's relative to inch perfect. At least as the term is used. But anyway. So we are on to this next race here. We've got another week in between. You saw the calendar. There's not much going on for a little while here. We don't have any major sponsor objectives either, so we're looking pretty comfortable on keeping that sponsor confidence. It was totally maxed out. Of course, that slipped after we took second at the Amgen Tour of California on a stage instead of winning one, so we had a top 3 for a stage result, which was a minor failure. But because it was a major objective, it did drop our confidence down a little bit. Final overall standings at the Dauphiné: Quintana over Roglic, so Quintana wins again by winning the final stage. That looks like Mount Blanc stage. Enric Mas takes third. Roglic slipped a spot to second. Gouillard back, so I'll have him available for this race, and he'll certainly be in it. But we'll go ahead and jump in. I'll get my team picked, and we'll get into that race. 25 kilometers left in this race, which is the Feinsrund. Breakaway group of 6. They were giving Alicia a little bit too long. This was a super, super easy race, and then all of a sudden the field kind of went, oh, they're too far out in front, and we accelerated really hard, really late. And that little uphill section, actually those 2 little uphill sections, just did some serious damage to the field very suddenly. 53 riders are all that's left in the peloton, and here we go. We're going to form up. Well, actually, no, not even yet, because I've got guys already falling off. Swerble falling off. I'll hold off a little bit longer because we don't have a full team for this. Here come the other teams taking over and pushing to the front, doing what I want to do.
The current pace is a bit too docile for some riders who are looking to
And
create
they
a
keep
breakaway.
pushing on. Now they sit up. There we go. Okay, and now it's down to 16K. We're going to go a little bit further. I think we're going to wait till 15, and then we're going to form up here just before this corner. Yeah, because here comes another acceleration. Somebody wants to take over, take advantage, do something. Now, the sad thing for me is this was not the team I expected to have today. And it's kind of my bad, really. When I got to this date on the calendar, the game auto-selected riders for me because I didn't pre-select a team in the planner. Well, I went back into the planner and selected my team, and for another race or 2 in the future, and thought, okay, I'm good now. No, I wasn't. And that was my mistake. That pre-selected auto-select team that it had, that was the team I ended up with, and I did not double-check that, unfortunately, before entering. Swerble's done, so I'll let him go, and we're going to go.
We've got 15 kilometers to the finish line.
Now 5 riders racing off the front. Peloton actually coming back together a bit. 7 riders off the front. Ah, they're just wasting their energy, though. That's a few tough guys. Toynes. There we go. We've caught them. Now it's just Toynes again trying to go off the front by himself. 11K to go. Garrison ready here for Vecchi. Just about keeping pace. They're pulling away a little bit, but they're wasting all their energy to do so.
The riders just passed the 10 kilometers road sign.
So that'll essentially take those guys out of contention. Okay, it's time for Garrison. For Vecchi's done. 8 kilometers. Let's go 97 here. 7.5. And now we are to the front here. Go at 98. Splits in the field starting to emerge. 6K.
Only a few riders are capable of following the
5K.
5 kilometers remaining.
Down to those last 3 guys. Katusha up beside us now. 2.5K, 2K, backs, 99. Let's go, let's go.
There goes the sprint. The strong men are giving their all.
Guillard just doesn't have much energy for his sprint, and he's only going to get 5th here. And I timed it right. He's running out of energy just after the finish line. Those guys are just too strong for us. They were all... 4 of them anyway. 3 of the 4. 3 of the 4 were bigger teams. Katusha, Lotto Sudal, Lotto Jumbo, Lotto Enel Jumbo, you know. 5th. 5th though. Not bad. Not bad. We got a top 5. And that's Guillard's first race back. He was on a negative race day condition. So were the other guys around him. We didn't have a pure sprint team. All things considered, decent day. We didn't end up with that top sprint out. Those guys were already going past us, pushing past us when we were doing 96, 97, trying to push. Went from an easy race to a tough race pretty quickly. Tour de Suisse, Geraint Thomas on top right now over Chris Froome. Thomas for Quick Step, by the way. Kreuziger in 3rd. Bing Bing Tour, we're out. This one, 12 teams applying for 7 spots, so 5 teams will not make it, which means we're probably not going to make it because that seems to be how that goes. I'm a low prestige, new kid on the block kind of team. And we have another race tomorrow, but once we get through that one, we've got national championships coming up following that, and then we'll be pushing into the end of July. Just like that. I mean, there's I think one other race on the calendar until the final day of July. So it's all coming up here pretty quickly now. And those national championships take a little while. We've got a few different nations represented in the team. About 4, 5 now. Not everybody's going to compete though, but we'll send a few faces up there. Last year was a big boost to us, prestige-wise, to have a couple top 10s in those national time trials and or national road races. Final 17 kilometers here at the Horsens. 191 kilometers overall. Very punchy. It's very hilly, but it's also flat enough that I've still got everybody here. Peloton itself, though, just 44 riders remain. The breakaway group still has nearly a minute over the field. It's been a long, slow catch. They only had about 5 minutes initially, but we thus far I've only pulled back about 4 minutes, partially due to the small size of our group. Some of that is due to crashes. Some of that is riders falling off the back. And we're on the finishing circuit now. We're going to take a look at it here in just a little bit before I really form up and get things moving, even though we have just 15 kilometers. Come around this bend, and here's the 1 kilometer to go banner. You can see we're slightly uphill right here, but then we turn this corner and it gets pretty steep, about 7-8%, and there's the finish line. So we're going to hit that again and again, and it's it's a little steep there, the finish. We have 1 more lap to go, and then we'll hit that final time. Let's go ahead and form up now, just 12K, and we can really start to push out a bit more. Now, it's interesting kind of what I want to do here. Gouillard needs time to get up to speed because of the acceleration, and he's terrible on hills. So he's really not the guy that I want bringing us in. Van Ginneken, well, he's a lot better. Good acceleration for that last little bit and decent on hills. So he could be. Marini is a +5 today. He's got a 79 acceleration, a 79 sprint today. And thanks to the condition, he's got a 65 on the hills. So we're going to have Marini go for it. Veldeman also is another one who's going to be decent. So I'm actually going to get Veldeman to follow just as a second chance. And then we'll give Van Ginneken as the lead out. Gouillard, not today. You're terrible on hills. Backs, I've got a lot of sprinters today, so I'm happy with what we have there. Swerble would be good for these hills, but he's not going to last much longer. We'll start bringing him up. He's like last wheel at the moment. Use his gel. It's 11 kilometers already, just like that.
10 kilometers remaining.
Hitting this little hill here, 10K to go. Go over the top, under 10K. I don't want to run out too early, and I'm really worried that that's going to happen here. But I'm also worried that if you don't sprint, here's that last time. Here we go. Oh, not 99. Not 96 here, 96. There's that breakaway group. Yeah, a little damage to the field. Gouillard could not handle that hill, and see how bad that was. Now we go back to 99.
5 kilometers left.
Wow, these downhills. This might not be where we want to be. I want you to just grab onto the back, Garrison. We don't need you anymore. Backs. Push it. Come on, Gouillard. Keep up. 3K. Okay, 3K to go. Good. Everybody use their gel. Those 7 riders are still right there. We have not caught them yet. 2K to go. I need your speed, Gouillard. I need your speed. I'm going to save Backs. I want Backs to grab onto the back of Veldeman. It's already down to 1K. I mean, this should be Van Ginneken's lead-out time here. I'm going to have multiple sprinters, I suppose. There we go. Sprint. But we're only it's the breakaway. It's the breakaway. I'm going to beat everybody else, but the breakaway is going to beat us. Breakaway survives to the line, and I get past one of the break, and that's it. And I beat everybody else in the field, and it was Gouillard, and then Van Gitteken, and then Marini. I would have had a 1-2-3 if we could have caught that breakaway group before the finish line. Ah, that is disappointing. I get 3 guys. I would have had a 1-2-3 on the podium if we would have caught that breakaway group before the line. Apparently I could have started earlier than I did, as I had the strength to do so. I was just really worried about that 300-meter punchy climb. Didn't know who was going to have the strength to do it, who would be in a position, and so I saved some guys and didn't chase down sooner, and I really should have, because the breakaway group ended up surviving, and maybe I would have caught them if I would have pushed sooner. I wouldn't have had as many riders left. But a win would have been better than 7th, 8th, 9th if it was just one guy left. It was difficult to judge what was going to happen on that one.
And here are the race highlights that we've selected for
It's a
you.
tricky finish for sure. Well. Not the result we were hoping for. Don't need any of those. Our race is now behind us, and we are on to those national championships, individual time trials first, road races second. In terms of the calendar on a whole, this is it till the end of the month, so we have just 3 other races. We've got a time trial, 22 kilometers, short one. We've got a short little punchy hill stage and the London Surrey Classic sprint race on that one. So that's it until we hit the transition period where we're going to get our sponsorship deal signed for next year. We're going to finalize our budget for next year and then start signing riders. So it's all coming up really soon. I would say we've got about 1 episode of prep work to get into that with the national races, and we might get 1 or 2 of these races in, and then we'll have 1 or 2 races before we hit that period. So just 2 episodes from now, we will be doing our deals for next season, for the upcoming season. We shouldn't be going anywhere. We've already earned our status in Pro Continental, and I should be able to match that or better that. The tricky part, though, is at this point, even keeping the riders I have is going to be a little bit challenging. We'll take a quick look at that here while we still have a moment. Contract-wise, I have 7 riders with expiring contracts. Now, Simpson Garrison would be easy to re-sign for the money they're at, but Van Gitteken, he's going to want a pay increase. Bull, Gouillard's going to want a pay increase for sure. Veldeman certainly could want one. Van Hemlen's definitely going to want one, which means more than half of these guys are going to want more money than they have right now. So we easily could have 6,000 to 8,000 increase just to retain the riders that we have right now. It's tricky because we're only looking at maybe 12,000 more depending on what we get sponsorship-wise, because I have a strong feeling that I will move on to a new sponsor. Just because we're near the capacity and the increases are so small year to year. But with that many contracts expiring, tricky. It's going to be tricky. I may not want to re-sign all of them. I may want to re-sign. I don't know. I mean, I like Simpson for a 67, and if he wants to re-sign for 2,500, I'll keep him. Garrison's been doing just fine too, and he has improved somewhat. So again, if he wants to stay for what they're earning now, I will probably retain both of them. That being said, these other guys, I think all of them have good potential, but I'll have to double check that. That'll keep them around. But with that being said, budget's going to be tricky this year because I may not be able to really get out there and do much signing of new talent. I might spend almost all of the budget increase on just retaining the squad I have now, and then at best I might get one more writer, and that's kind of sad, but that could be where we're at this year. We'll find out. It's definitely coming up soon though, middle of June, and there's not much on the calendar between now and the end of July. It's a light couple months for us. We didn't get into any of the races besides the Ride London over this stretch. So on the youth development side, there's still plenty of riders out here that have that high potential. So we could try to get our hands on one of them. But a lot of them are pretty low on their average. This is one really would love to get our hands on. Evan Poole, he's a 75 already at age 20. Super high potential. Belgian rider, but he's already with Lotto Soudal. Having signed last season. We tried to get him, but it was just too much money. There's an option. There's an option. Oh, these guys are both signed on to teams, though. So is he. Oh, man. Most of these guys have signed on with somebody at one point in the last year or two. Virtually all of the 5/8s that are already decent have signed on. Dang. So it's going to be a tricky signing period this year, or maybe it'll end up being straightforward and it's just re-signing all my guys. Very well could be. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.